Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, we go to let pop culture lair. Come on down and get your geek on gift at the Sci-Fi Center. We got almost everything a geek could want at the Sci-Fi Center. You name it, we got it. Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and everything in between at the Sci-Fi Center.
Welcome to December. This is our first little conversation since the calendar went from November to now. Woo! Allergies are destroying me today, so forgive me if I go in and out. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Midnight Express, the very first one of the last month of the year. Not a lot going on today, but I figured I'd check in because of the sporadic nature of our broadcast this week and throughout the holidays. So I figured where I can, and if I was feeling well enough, I would. And here I am. Not too much went on. We had some merger non-news. Until there's an actual purchase or a transaction made, most of the stuff you're going to hear is kind of worthless. Now Netflix is in the lead. Yay. But as far as I'm concerned, and I've pretty much done my best to stay away from it, simply because there's just going to be a lot of maneuvering and meaningless maneuvering. And, at this point, the information flow is suspect. And if the information flow is suspect, what we report on this show is suspect. So there's plenty of shows out there that'll just throw information out as they react to it. I don't fucking care about this merger enough to the process of this merger enough to do that. Now, once it's done, the ramifications will be obviously there'll be have reverberating effects, but the process of it is kind of worthless because we don't know. We're not on the inside. Articles about it. How many times has that changed? So yeah, Netflix has currently borrowed some money to make a pitch for it, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up and they weren't the people purchasing it. But once again, I think we've exhausted the merger talk. But I don't know. And I'll answer your questions on it, but they're not going to be any different than they were in November. Really. So let me go ahead and say hi. Oh, Aussie, TNN, AMC. Yeah, finally a TV deal for those guys. Still number 3 promotion by a distant third, but it's a good move for them. Apparently, Dune 3 is moving its date up in order not to compete with Doomsday. I have not heard that. I have not heard that. I'm not saying that that's new true, but I have not heard that. As long as it releases before the calendar year of the Doomsday is not going to win any Academy Awards. So that, I mean, the competition is not between money; it's prestige. Dune is a Academy Award winning potential film. It's gonna make its money no matter where you put it. But the biggest thing is you have to make sure that it happens in the calendar year so that what happens with Dune 2 doesn't happen. Um, Dune's a $500 million movie, no matter where you put it. Avengers Doomsday is going to be $1 billion movie, no matter where you put it. So I don't think that's a really. I don't think in order to compete with Doomsday, I don't think Doomsday is not going to compete with them in the Oscars, and that's really where you're at for as far as Dune goes right now. Because, like I said, I don't think I think it's a $500 million movie. Regardless, you could put it on the same day, in my opinion. I mean, I believe it's a $500 million movie. I don't think Dune is a $1 billion franchise. I think Dune is a really good money franchise, but you make those movies for the prestige of being those epic level films, whereas Doomsday will be an epic level film, not on the scale that the Academy recognizes. So, unfortunately for them, let's bring in the host. How you doing?
Man, interesting. Right, about 10 minutes before I came on, I stubbed my little toe, the one that I've broken about 5 times this calendar year. He was swearing like crazy. I mean, it didn't break this time, but no, it's your little toe. What can you do?
It'd be all right. Take some Robitussin.
That's Chris Rock's like medical advice there. The cure for everything, Robitussin.
That's what our parents do. The only thing that's moving up is the stock value of Warner Brothers, which helps them.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick. Current stock
I haven't heard anything about Apple. I mean, that was my preferred destination a long time ago, but I haven't heard anything about. But to be in all fairness, guys, I haven't been really. I've been purposely staying away from most of this because
there's
kind of nonsense right now.
Their stock right now is at 24.53, which I mean, it's right where it's due. I mean, it's like about a year and a half. I mean, I remember like about a little over a year ago, I was writing articles where I said their stock was down like $6 even.
Well, they set this December deadline, so the stock that everybody's anticipating something happening. So that's what that is. Because that stock ain't worth that much. Did you hear that Indy the dog was nominated for an Astro Film Award, making him the first animal to be nominated for Best Performance in Horror Film? No, I did not hear that at all. That's good. The sequel to Doom Part 1 made over $700 million. Did it make that much?
Look that up.
Because I know that's not what they were projecting Doom Part 2 to make.
The first one did like 400 and
that was for and that was good for that.
Yeah, it did. Doom 2 did 715.
Yeah, I never got the feeling that they thought this was a franchise that reached that. To be honest with you,
and the first one did 411.
Yeah, I don't think Vinny Villeneuve or Warner Brothers goes into Dune thinking anything above 500 million. To be honest with you, because it's a hard IP to get into. It's a very complex IP to get into, even with the all-star cast. It's just, and it's long. It's Dune. That's why what they did. So I be honest with you, I think that Dune 3, Messiah, whatever they're going to call it, I think it's a $500 million movie. And if it does $700 million, great. But that's not what they're. If it did $400 million and won 10 Academy Awards, what do you think Warner Brothers is going to care about more? Because they'll get that other money back in the back end. So I don't think I don't know why. The people who are going to go see Dune are going to go see Dune, and I'm not going to not go see Doomsday because of Dune. They could be out in the same week. I'm going to both. So, but one of those movies is an Academy Award winning favorite, and that's going to do more for your studio prestige wise than anything else. Like I said, they lost a crap ton of money on Blade Runner 2049, but they gladly campaigned for the Academy Awards for those movies. So let's see, Droga. I don't think Doomsday or whatever the hell they call it. Well, both movies are start. Both movies have. I mean, some of them have crossover. They have the same stars in some of them, but I think it's just a matter of, especially with Dune Part Two having to be pushed because of all the writer's strike and all that shit. There's a singular goal for Dune Part Three. They want to do that Lord of the Rings shit where they get that third movie out there and it wins for everything. Well, can we? I would take that in a heartbeat. I liked Wallace's character. I mean, I'm glad I got Blade Runner Black Lotus to be able to expand on his character a little bit more. But I don't know if that's the direction they're going to, because this next thing that we're getting is 50 years after Blade Runner 2049. But never say never when it comes to the Blade Runner franchise. Yeah, and nobody wanted it at the time, but the only way that stock gets up to where it is because the potential for a sale. That's it. It's not, yeah, the company's doing better, but it's not doing $15 a share better than it was last year, as far as performance wise. But that's why. I mean, if there was no sale going on right now, if there was no leveraging going on, you're probably talking about a $12 stock. I've heard of it. I took a look at the trailer, and I am going to take a pass on that. Did you see that yet? Begonia? All right. I don't think Brad is not paying attention. William, if Dune 3 doesn't win Best Picture and Best Director and Oscars, yeah, I mean, that's the goal here. Yeah, obviously, we're going to go see a great movie. I think, I don't think it's going to be anything less than epic, but at the same time, I think this is that type of movie. And if had Dune Part 2 not been moved, I think Dune Part 2 wins the bulk of those awards against Oppenheimer of that year. Yeah, Brad's doing his own show right now. I don't even think he can hear me.
I can hear.
Oh, did you see Begonia? I was asking you that while you were.
I haven't seen Begonia. No, that never really. Well, and I've seen a few people kind of that we in our sort of circles talking about like what is like what's that all about? It's like Emma Stone doing something kind of a little bit outside of her wheelhouse. And like what's that all about?
Something about it. She's an alien or something. I saw the trailer and I just didn't. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I mean, it's. I wasn't the biggest fan of Poor Things either, but everybody loved that movie. So, she really hasn't been in a movie that I would really pay to see, like out of desire of seeing it.
Like outside of like Spider-Man movies.
That's about it. La La Land, no. I saw Poor Things because it was nominated, but it didn't do anything for me. So some of these movies are just. I'm glad somebody's out there to see them, and I'm glad somebody's actually getting that type of movie made. It's just for me, they're just like I just don't feel like it. I just don't
Actually,
get the feel.
It's interesting you should say that, Forth, because it's, finishing up a few things a little bit here tonight, and again, some of it's related stuff I'm looking forward to. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, please don't leave it here because I know.
And that's right, like William says, like he's glad there's an audience for, even if it's not for him, there's audience for like when these things are made, there's an audience exists for even if it's not for him. It's like, I mean, that's important to remember. It's like these people with so much work and it's like the audience. Somebody makes up an audience for all of this.
Yeah, it's just not necessarily the audience that may or may not be watching my show. That's all. William, do you think Sinners is going to win the Oscars?
Totally.
It's
100%.
possible, but I don't. Should it? Yeah. Will it? Look at some of the movies that have won the last 5 or 6 years. In some cases, in my opinion, I didn't think they were that level, and it's harder to stomach when you see what they beat out. So yeah, I would say Sinners should win some Oscars. But given the people who vote on these things, even the ones who do watch them, sometimes I'm still left with my hands up in the air and like, what the fuck were you on when you voted for that? So this is part of my disconnection with the Oscars. I mean, I want to see certain films get that prestige, but for me as a viewer, I don't care anymore. Simply because I think the people who are watching and voting on these things are on in their own solar system, on their own planet, and with their own criteria that does not line up with mine. And their opinions, the opinion what the Academy thinks is or isn't a great movie anymore, no longer holds any real standing with me anymore like it used to when I was a kid. Now it's like, you know what? I'm going to judge these movies by myself, for myself, and not with some wine glass holding critic or somebody who says I don't care about the Golden Globes, I don't care about any of these award shows anymore. This is going to be the first year since I've had a format that I will not be covering them at all. I am not covering the Academy Awards whatsoever. We're not going to do one fucking minute of the Academy Award because that's where it is for me right now. I see what's won for Best Movie. I've seen what is won for Best Actor. I see what they're doing, and they're holding their own little party for them, and that's fine. You don't have to invite me to your party. But I got to watch your party. I don't have to care about your party. There's plenty of things on. I can watch Sports Center and get better entertainment value these days. Unfortunately, I wish that was not the case, but this is the case they've made it. When it's funny, the audiences for Dune root for Paul Atreides, but Paul is not really a good person. Well, because they don't really if you see how he's brought him along in the movies, it's easy to root for Paul Atreides. If you read further, it's not. But most of the people who are watching these movies, a good portion of them, with Frank Herbert is probably less, not as lopsided as some of the like comic book movies, but I would say half, if not a little bit more than half, will never read the source material, and you really only hate him if you read that, in my opinion. Glenn Powell has not gotten to the point to me of Jason Statham to where I would like go ahead and go see his movies no matter what. Running Man, like I said, I re-promoted it, but
by the way, speaking of Statham, did you see he had a trailer just dropped for him?
Yeah,
today?
the Dwelling or something like that.
Yeah,
Shelter.
Yeah, which again, that's the thing with Statham. It's like he's William said before, he's Statham on here. He's like he's Seagal. If he actually things went better for him, and that's the thing about Statham is like it's very what you see is what you get with him. It's like it's very the simplicity of kind of the sales pitch of like a Statham vehicle really it's easy to sell people on because like what is it? It's like 2 hours of him just kicking people's ass.
Two guys kidnap Emma Stone, believing she's an alien with a bunch of ludicrous pieces of pass. Let's see. Another remake of this is what did he number 3? I'm gonna remix. Let's see if today. Yeah, we got some 70-degree weather coming in a couple of weeks, so I guess. I am, like I said, I like Glenn Powell, but I don't love Glenn Powell to the point where it's like, okay, you're gonna be the determining factor that makes me leave the house and go to see a movie. I mean, he's in stuff that I like. I hope they do another Top Gun movie with him, but as of now, it's just really he's not a draw for me. But that doesn't mean he's not a draw. Period. So not a lot. We got comic wise. I gotta look at what's coming out. I gotta go grab stuff tomorrow. Absolute Batman comes out next week, number 15, and sometime in between now and then, I gotta get my interview going with Scott Snyder. And I don't know if it's gonna be live. I'm probably gonna record it because you heathens will
No,
jam up.
fuck it. We'll do a live. Fuck it.
Nah, nobody knows that reference, by the way.
That's all.
Nobody knows that
That
reference.
became legendary the moment that came out.
Nobody knows that. I mean, you're talking about a guy on a niche broadcast network. Now you're talking to Generation Ys and Zs who don't know the fuck that guy is. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do it on a live stream or if I want to do it a recording. So I'll have to look. Plus, it'll all depend on what that particular person's schedule is too, because whenever he's ready is when we're going to do.
Why are you tiptoeing around too? I mean, it's like they already let the cat out of the bag on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, they know who it is, but like I said, it's gonna be based on his schedule and when he's available. Because I'm pretty sure I will not be.
Yeah, again, that's like that you like. When did you start? Like, because you just DM'd him.
Clint, you're 53 years old, so yeah, we're above the median over our audiences. So,
but no, so you like how'd that all start with you and Scott? So you just DM and because I've gotten interviews and things like that through social media, but usually it tends to be through Facebook. And the thing about Twitter is that if a lot of times when I try to like do DMs through Twitter, it'll give me that little thing like, oh, you don't have the blue check mark, so they're not going to see your message unless you sign up for the blue check mark, and I'm not paying to have a blue check mark next to my name. So,
well, and as a journalist, I would see that would be a must for you.
And nobody's told me to do it yet.
Well, no, but they're just going to expect that you needed to. I mean.
Well, yeah, but I'm not like Walter Cronkite.
You're not like Walter Cronkite. You don't have to be, though. You're communicating with other people who deal with people that are frauds in a lot of cases. And since we deal in an era where not everybody has the same level of credibility, you want, if you're representing an outlet or something like that, they're looking for that check mark. I have it. That helped me, but it also it also depends on who it is you're talking to and how accessible they are too. He solicited, for people to, if you want an advanced copy, these were months and months ago when Absolute first started, that if you wanted an advanced copy, DM him and then he would send it to you. And after a couple of times of not getting a response, I finally started getting responses. And
in your case, I think, the fact that you're a comic store owner probably, again.
Well, he would not have known that outright, because nowhere on my Twitter, you're probably going to find out more about this YouTube channel than you from the Twitter page than you would on the Sci-Fi Center directly, because the Twitter page isn't I use a Twitter page mainly to promote this channel. I put stuff on there via merchandising stuff there, but it's in conjunction with Instagram and Facebook, which are the two big ones for me. And actually Threads. Threads has outpaced response, because a lot of that stuff is local people that are here, and the tourists stay away from Twitter like it's radioactive. So really, the YouTube channel would be, because you see all our streamings on there. You see some of the reposts on there are exclusively, for the most part, to promote Sci-Fi Center Presents. So I think he sees me as a media outlet, and that helps there, and the fact that whatever content he's taking a look at might have helped. We've done enough to be to be. Plus, I'm at Comic-Con. He recognized me from Comic-Con too.
Yeah, again, that also helps.
So there's a couple of different factors, but that may have helped.
That kind of happened with me one time. That happened to me. Something like that kind of happened to me. I interviewed Janet Varney and Dante Bosco a few years ago when they were starting the Avatar podcast. I interviewed them for Screen Rant for that. And I didn't get the chance to tell Janet Varney, but I met her about 6 years prior to that at Tampa Comic-Con. I was in line, got her autograph. And it would have been kind of cool to say, oh, by the way, we met. But again, I didn't want to disrupt the flow of the interview or anything. So kind of left it at that. But again, something similar happened to me.
Yeah, and I've asked several times. Hey, when's a good time to come on? When's a good time to come on? And then most I'm so used to getting. I think most people, more than they will actually tell you, if they're being honest, the vast majority is going to be rejection. I mean, I'm talking about most people are going to get 70 to 80% rejections, and that's for people who interview. And a lot of it's because some people just don't want to do interviews. Some people only want to do interviews with a handful of people. Period.
and also there's I mean, you have to kind of add something to that. I mean, sometimes when you talk about like people don't want to do interviews, that's not necessarily from like a egotistical or standoffish angle. I mean, like there was I'm going to omit this individual's name, but there was one guy I reached out to try to do an interview with for a couple of years ago, and he's a face of some notoriety. Again, without naming anyone's name, it's like I guarantee you have seen this person cinematically, and not like Bruce Willis or Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lil's notoriety, but again, you have seen this person many times. And I wanted to it'd be cool to do an interview with this dude. Reached out to him, and he said, yeah, thanks for reaching out, but I mean, I've done a whole bunch of interviews. It's like I'm kind of good with my public profile right now. I'm not really like trying to be out in the spotlight. So, and so it just kind of left it at that. Again, he wasn't like, it wasn't a flippant thing by any means. He just like,
yeah, and I never take pride. Okay, there are wrestlers who I'm on good terms with, like here in town, local wrestlers that are actually that wrestle in on big time levels that have declined interviews. But when I walk up to them, we start talking. We can talk. I mean, it's just that there's certain things that certain boundaries and stuff that people have set up for themselves, for whatever reason, and that's why I never really forced the issue. If I had ever gotten a no from him, I would have never asked again like that. I would never, because once you would have been a while before I ever asked again, because he made, people when they say no, it's the easiest two letters you can say. You make your intentions clear, and that's it. If the status changes, if the situation changes, like here in town, I've gotten no's and then gotten yeses after that. So it's more of a situational thing. What's going on at the time, and how we grow as a channel too. A lot of times, I mean, you got to figure throughout the times that I've been asking certain people to interview, where we've come from as a channel and where we are now is drastically different. So now when you come back and ask, you're no longer dealing with 241 followers. You're dealing with, a pretty decent follower. And even though we have a minuscule amount of people, like actual subscribers, that doesn't mean we don't have a lot of viewers. I think a lot of people get that mixed up, is we do have a lot of people that watch this show. There are times when I look at the YouTube feed and it's like 15 people, and then I look at the overall feed, and we've got like 600 or 700 watching. Now, I wish there was a way to if I ever figure that out, to correlate from other platforms and get credit for them through YouTube, I will. But right now, we have two companies that are proprietarily owned that don't really work well with each other that well, to the point where, I wish I could show you guys sometimes, and it looks like nobody's watching. There's a lot of people watching. If you look at our
we get a hell of a turnout for those.
You look at the final numbers of what YouTube sees as a view versus who's actually watching. We've had 500 and 600 people watching us at any given time, and that's why I always tell people. That's why I'm always doing this. If you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on another format right now, please come over to us, because the channel is built around YouTube, not Twitter. It's just the way, our programming works. It's just the way, it's set up. I love having people from Twitter, but I would like to consolidate that, because like I said, if you go in and we're watching right now and you see, oh, wow, who's watching the show? And then and on a particular night, you see what we're seeing on our dashboard. You're like, we have other people. And it doesn't make it to where they can respond. So it used to be when you're on Twitter, you responded. It came up in my chat. It no longer does that. So even if you said something in response, because you're not watching it via chat, you're watching a post. So when you're watching YouTube, you're watching us stream. When you're watching us on X or Twitter, it's a post that's live. So it's different than a stream number, but yeah, I mean, but there's some people, that I like I said, Scott Sander, I know solely through Twitter. So, maybe he's saying now there you can go see the views, because Twitter tabulates their own views, which is just weird. I wish they'd just figure this out one day.
Yeah, Aaron, give people the context of Bill O'Reilly. When he was on Inside Edition, Free Fox News, he's caught on camera yelling at his producer. It's a really funny video. Go watch it. And it's like, I'm not like a newscaster. I mean, it's like there's I think most people understand there's like different sects of journalism and or substrates of journalism. So he's definitely like I mean, he made it up to that upper echelon, so it's like, I mean, I can't, I mean, more people know who he is than know me, so like he did something right, but I mean, I will say, like, being in, if not being in more or less the hemisphere of the line of work he is, it's dude's temper is like really kind of like his biggest personal and professional kind of shortcoming, I would say. We're just gonna leave it at that.
So yeah, pretty boring day. Nothing.
Other than the state, again, I thought you'd be all over that Statham trailer.
No, because I can't show it.
I mean, just like had you seen it?
And like early, I saw it at like 4 a.m. this morning, and then YouTube or somebody kept giving me a notification for some trailer for a movie I'm never gonna see, something we do on vacation or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I kept getting like notifications. I'm like, I looked at it and I'm like, why would you send me this? This is William Repellent. Why would you send me this? I'm like, what
the first two transfers, and I never saw the TV show. I love the first two.
I did not see the TV show.
The first two were awesome. The third one was undone by bad editing on the fight scenes, definitely. Which, of course, in my my kind of genre specialty, that's definitely a big short. That's very big. It takes down quite a few points, and then the fourth one, refueled. It's like, yeah, that was a real letdown. The first one without Statham, it was just weird because like Ed Screen, he really broke out like right after that with
Yeah, but you're following
Deadpool and then even a Rebel Moon, yeah. So he's done a lot of much
things that a lot of people haven't seen. Unfortunately, yeah, that's just putting it plainly. He's done a lot of things that people haven't.
And what's crazy about him has taken over for Statham in that role is that I remember because with his accent and with his kind of facial features, I kind of left that. I didn't like the movie, but I thought, he probably would be my first choice for somebody to like play. For somebody like if they did like a biopic of Jason Statham, I think he wouldn't make a bad choice to play Statham.
Just get Statham to play him if he's still alive. How you doing, Steve Ortega?
Fourth, and Avatar 3 is already coming out. Yep, it's going to be out on the 19th. And nobody talks about Avatar. It makes a bunch of money. Again,
yeah,
2 words.
James
Cameron.
Well, it's got a dedicated following that's been with it since the first one.
Yeah, well, and that's I forget who I saw.
I'm not part of it because
I forget who I saw post this, but they said something like that the Avatar fan base is kind of an anomaly, and that you don't see there's none like the kind of the dark side or.
Well, they know how to act. They know how to conduct themselves.
Well, it's like that they kind of like they only pop up periodically, and that's whenever an Avatar movie is out. And then
they do what fans should do.
Yeah, they have fun with the stuff they like.
If you like it, continue to show up. If you don't. You don't need to wet your bed over what you don't like. They're celebrating what they like in the only way that truly matters is at the box office. So other fans, I'm not going to see it. But as far as like when it comes to their fan base, every fan base, that's a model. You don't need to get hyped up. You don't need to, if you like it, continue to support it. If you don't, walk away. It's that fucking simple. Star Wars fans should take note, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Star Wars fans are actually becoming the new Trek fans for me.
What do you think is the fan base that is kind of the most sort of fraught with? I mean, I try to avoid the word toxic.
Right now it's Star Wars for me. Star Wars.
You think so? Yeah. Well, because I always say it's like any day I feel bad being a DC fan, I just look over to Star Wars fan and think like, yeah, it could always be worse.
Not DC. The problem with DC was management down. I don't think you had that kind of problem with Star Wars. I've already gone over it. I don't have the voice to do it again today, but it's almost like they're held hostage by the people who do not want to let the franchise expand beyond the little cul-de-sac that it's been in for nearly 50 years. I mean, there's other people that are like, okay, I'm new to this thing. I wasn't there the original trilogy. Hell, maybe episode 1 for me was episode 1. It wasn't episode 4. So you have an entire generation that has grown to want something else, and then we keep catering to the nostalgia to the point where we're just going to computer generate, other people's face on different actors just to keep them in the story again. To me, that's not growth.
Well, that's why I say like the Mandalorian is the best thing in my opinion to come out of Disney Star Wars, because that was
It's not even to me. Yeah, for me, the Mandalorian is fun. It's fun, but it's like finger painting in kindergarten when you compare it to Andor. When you compare the quality and the level of performance, if you compare the Mandalorian's 3 seasons or whatever 3 seasons had to Andor doesn't even need a third. It obviously wouldn't get a third season because of what happened, but Andor is like grad school. Mandalorian is literally not even learning how to read or alphabet, finger painting in kindergarten. That's the two level for me. But I want the next Star Wars to be something, new for me as somebody who's been alive the entire Skywalker saga. I'm ready for something else, And if they don't give it to me, cool. I'm not hanging on to the boat waiting for Star Wars to give me anything I want to watch. If they do, they do. If they don't, I go on to other things.
yeah, fourth thing. Avatar fans or sleeper cell fans that activate only opening weekend when people back to sleep. They have no. I think they remember. I mean, people remember seeing these movies because they are, I mean, it's hard to forget this kind of imagery that camera shows you in Pandora. But yeah, it's like again, like I said, Avatar fans, they're dedicated. But it's like the only time you see you can sense they're having a big presence in the zeitgeist is when Avatar movie is out. Comes out, does crazy numbers, runs its course, wait for the next one.
DC fans are primarily full of shit online. Most of the DC nonsense happens online. They would not conduct themselves if they had to get up from behind a computer and go out and meet real people. So, whereas Star Wars, it goes across the entire scope. DC is not. Most of the shitheads when it comes to DC are online. Their balls are big behind the keyboard. They're not the proportion problem that what Star Wars had, because Star Wars has a philosophical split between generations and it's holding it back. DC was just mismanaged, and everything you see as a response to DC has been as a result of bad management. I can't really say that for other franchises.
William Brad, looking forward to the Doomsday trailer this month? Of course I am.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the movie, but the trailer is going to get us talking in the right direction.
It seems pretty much like the writings on the wall that trailers for Supergirl and Avengers Doomsday, those are we will be seeing those before Christmas Day. Definitely.
The thing, and this is where I differ from the way DC and James Gunn handled the marketing for Superman. We're in December. When does Doomsday come out?
Next December.
Okay. This is the way I'm not, and I always say let DC be DC, but this isn't a DC thing. This is a movie making thing. This is a starting the ball and the gears turning throughout the next month thing. I really would have, well, Superman did fine without it. You don't know how much better it could have done with it, though. I just think that the human mind and the American mind is conditioned to receive things in the format and the way, because that's the way they've been doing it for decades. So if it wasn't broke, this is we didn't get a trailer for Superman until what, inside of 90 days?
No, we got it. Actually, we got it about this time last year. But that was 7 months in advance. But so we got it. We got a good runway for it. That was the first teaser, I should say.
Trailer. No, not teaser. We don't talk teasers here. Fuck teasers. Trailer.
One, yeah, and even I need to look up like the date of the first proper trailer.
It was 90 days before the movie got released because I was up in the morning. We were live when that shit hit. Remember?
Yeah. We
teasers don't mean shit. Teasers don't do a lot for me simply because there's no context. There's no context. There's no what's this about? Where are we going with this? Who's our main thing? That teasers can give you a bunch of music and some out of context, thrown together shit. That's a teaser. A trailer is where you start to, now we're talking. Now we're making our case for you to come out and see my movie type of it. That does not surprise me at all. And it earned that spot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, that too. I mean, like I said, this is coming from the Star Wars side. Star Wars fans are worse than those. They're worse than anything, to be honest with you. Stranger Things, Doomsday will be a teaser, not shit. Yeah, so with Doomsday, I would rather see a trailer. Teasers don't really do. I already know a teaser for Doomsday is kind of pointless.
I'm kind of expecting it to be a little bit like the Infinity War one, where it had like the whole, there was a dream about like a team of extraordinary people to fight the battles we never could. That narration with the PN
Yeah,
over the Avengers. I'm kind of expecting it to be something like that.
but here's the thing about Marvel. The advantage Marvel has. They don't need to make their case when it comes to the Avengers. They can put out a trailer or a teaser, and and for me, probably gonna have the same effect. Their teaser is probably gonna last like 2 minutes. Their trailer is probably gonna be roughly 3 minutes, but it really doesn't matter at this point because I'm going. I'm already in.
I will say it kind of pissed me off that they're looking back on the trailer where we finally saw Infinity War, and then the Hulk was not in that shot of the whole team running towards Thanos. Yeah. The Hulk has just gotten progressively worse in the MCU for like Age of Ultron on. It's like the Hulk has gotten so nerfed that my biggest hang up, and I really liked Endgame overall, but my biggest hang up was I really, really wanted to see like the Thanos and Hulk rematch from Infinity War. Because I thought it's like I thought that was like, oh, this you just, I mean, you kind of got something to that end with him being the guy who does the blip. But I mean, I wanted to see. I thought they were going to punch a hole through the moon. The two, go just for round two. It's like, oh, didn't get that. Damn it.
The thing about DC when Superman came out is you're talking about the first movie, the first motion picture in a universe that you still had to get people to buy in to. With Avengers, there's really no case that needs to be made. There's no buy-in there. We're already in, so they can, and even they are doing this a lot earlier than Superman got on board with. Superman did not have the benefit of the doubt coming in. Obviously, any MCU movie of this scale is going to. So I would have liked to have seen them if Superman was coming out in July. I really thought that they should have been there with Fantastic Four, but everybody's like, you don't need to be the small screen warriors on YouTube. Our army is saying you don't need to, but you got to realize we're focused on this stuff. Whenever we're talking on the show, whatever I'm not talking about what YouTube thinks. I'm not talking about our little tiny audience or the overall audience that's on YouTube, our 3 to 4%. I'm talking about the guy that's sitting in front of a TV on a football day or a college football day or watching wrestling, that's seeing the ad, and that's going to go, that's going to be enticed to go in. We're already in one way or another. So I don't know what Doomsday will be rational. I don't know if it's going to be one or the other, but I am. The question was I'm looking forward to it, and yes, I am, because I'm looking forward to the movie. Stop at teasers. I don't want the contest. You probably make up less than 1% of all moviegoers, though. So I mean, I can appreciate what you're saying, but you make up like literally probably. I wouldn't even say 1%, because most people, this is what they use for marketing. If you can sell me with striking images that's more powerful and cerebral than spelling it out for knuckleheads, yeah, you mean the other 98%, another 99%. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's a bankrupt. That's a road to bankruptcy, son. If you want to do it that way. That's a really good show. It's not going to be nothing. Nothing I recommend to you guys is going to be for everything. That's why it's a recommendation. But if you watch things along the lines that I do, I think Stranger Things is one of the gold standards of any show, streaming or otherwise. If you're talking about the MCU, they pretty. I think the MCU has done a pretty good job for the most part when it comes to characters. Now there have been some that have jammed up. The Celestials are a joke. The Eternals were a joke. There's been some that did, but Galactus. I mean, there's been more hits, in my opinion, when it comes to the adaptations, when it comes to MCU than anything else. And this is coming from a guy who long before there were comic book movies, I had my head buried in comic books. So that's just my opinion. I mean, the TV shows have probably done more damage to the character IPs than anything. But then again, the amount of people who watch the TV shows in comparison to the people who go out and watch them in movies is going to be a big difference. So I think when it comes to cinematic versions of these characters, they've done a good job. I'm pretty sure Doomsday trailer is a teaser because so goes Spider-Man. Well, no, they could do it. They could do a trailer. They could do a trailer. They could do a teaser. For them, Avengers Doomsday really only needs a teaser. We know the context of Avengers for the most part. We know what's been leading up to all this. If you've been paying attention to a lot of different platforms, I mean, this story is not new. The TVA, what's going on with the alternate universes, Loki, all these things are not new. This is what they've been building up to. Deadpool versus Wolverine. So there's a lot of things that are, I think you're going to see Robert Downey Jr. in the trailer or teaser. And for most MCU heads, that's really going to all that they need. That's really all they're going to need is, that is the most familiar face in the MCU right now, and they love that guy. You had to be there in that, that Hall H that year. I mean, that was like, that was a rapture moment there. Well, I'm forgetting Star Trek fans who write letters. Yeah, that was in 1986, though. I'm gonna give people a little bit of leeway of being fools back then because it was the 80s, and we didn't. Now in the modern era of behavior, I think Star Wars fans are the worst. Not all Star Trek or Star Wars fans. I think Star Wars fans are the worst because to give the 1980s people that were out there in front of the Paramount, the Paramount lot protesting, when they saw the Next Generation, they embraced it and they shut the fuck up. They put those signs down. Those same people that, we're never going to, Kirk is, there is no Star Trek without Spock and Kirk until they saw Star Trek without Spock and Kirk, and it ended up, it struggled for a couple of years. But once Best of Both Worlds happened, Star Trek Next Generation, people look back, and I know there's old Trek fans that's just full of shit. I always liked the next. No, you didn't. Stop lying. Stop lying. You're lucky we don't have digital cameras back in that era because I'm pretty sure your ass was out there with a sign. But that's fine. I'm okay with people changing. I'm okay with people having their mind change. The gravitational pull when it comes to Star Wars for me is you have this steel trap that they just cannot escape, and it's the Skywalker saga. It's the Skywalker, not just them, it's the entire era that we need, and in my opinion, but they don't have to do anything for me. But I'm going to keep an arm's length from Star Wars until I see things that that intrigue me, and not the shit that I've been have had on my plate for the last 50 years. I don't need to see that anymore. So I think there's a difference between Trek fans. Most of them, when given the opportunity, even if they won't come out and admit it, will. They bitched and moaned about Picard. And there was a lot to bitch and moan about. But season 3, those same grown-ass people with that undersized shirt on, when they saw the Enterprise D coming out of there, they were crying and choking up and shit. So, yeah. But Star Wars fans, I don't know. I don't know if there's any hope for you guys. And the only show that old Trek fan got canceled was Enterprise. And that was because UPN was a weak network. Had that been on a network with some balls, they'd have just told the fans, you know what? Let us do Star Trek. You watch it. That's what they would have done these days. Whereas the Acolyte, listen, was it a perfect show? No. But nothing about Star Wars has been really perfect when you want to look at it. And here's the thing. We were talking about this on this show before the Acolyte came out. The year before the Acolyte came out, they were shitting on the Acolyte before it even reached your screen. Before we knew what was what and who was what. They already had their pants down. their diapers undone and ready to projectile shit on anything that's coming down. And to me, people have some valid reasons for not liking the show, but when I see you pre-shitting on something, anything, it's really hard for me to take your opinion seriously or take the atmosphere seriously because I know you were never going to give it a chance to begin with. Whereas there's certain, you gave Book of Boba Fett a chance, and that show was horrible. So yeah, I view Star Wars at a distance. I'm just not there anymore. I don't know what Mandalorian's going to do at the bottom. I don't know if people are going to take it like a movie though. That's the thing about it is when if people are going to be like this is some shit that was on my Disney Plus subscription. Now you want me to maybe I'll just wait 90 days. I'm not sure.
See, normally I would have kind of said with that, it's like, Star Wars is like, as a brand theatrically just does, but then we saw what happened with Solo, so it's like it's not bulletproof theatrically.
Well, Star Wars as a brand, if it's Star Wars proper, is bulletproof, because even the bad movies, I'm sorry, those last two movies were not good, and those movies made a lot of money, but it's not all about the money with them. I think they're, in order to break this umbilical cord that is the Skywalker cul-de-sac, you're just gonna have to cut it. You're just gonna have to dare people not to show up, and you have to do what Paramount did in the 80s. Dare people not to show up. They dared old Trek fan not to show up for Star Trek Next Generation, and they won that dare. They were right because they showed up for Star Trek Next Generation. Sometimes I just think you have to have faith in what you built in order to leap forward. Otherwise, you're just gonna be driving that little tricycle in the same cul-de-sac and changing the faces. The CGI face on the Luke Skywalker's body or something. Let's keep it going. I don't want to do that anymore. I mean, if that's what they're gonna do, fine. I'm not gonna hate watch. I'm not gonna hate stream. I'm just not gonna watch. Star Trek fans now are attacking Paramount. Where have you been? Yeah, but not really. I mean, if you look at, they attacked Discovery. They attacked a lot of things for the same old reasons. And to be fair, Discovery was a tough show to watch its first season and a half. But once Pike's Enterprise rolled in there, that show was great. And then that show was so good that it got you Strange New Worlds, what could end up being my favorite Star Trek series when it's all said and done. Right now it's Voyager, but I love Strange New World. This season was a little bit weird, but you know what? It's how they land the plane. We got 2 more seasons left. Brad just disappeared in the middle of the fucking show. Okay. Poof. I'm gonna have to make a drop that, and when he does that, he just poofs into smoke, and then we like take like a camera to see where he goes. Because it took them out of the game. What J.J. Abrams did by making that alternate timeline, it made it so that he was not beholden to the Trek Bible. And even a lot of those fans, they'll never admit it, they were on board. They went and saw that movie. There's no way that movie did numbers far beyond just the general audience. So yeah. If a Star Trek movie swipe, we might get a long pause between movies like 87 movies. I mean, I don't know if we need a pause in Star Wars. I just think we need to start, to start moving in different directions. That's all. I mean, that's what I think. All right, guys, we've been on air for about an hour, and this is just basically one of those, hey, here, I'm still here, still alive. It's the Christmas season, so there won't be as many structured shows as there is when I'm not living the retail reality. So, but just wanted to stay high. Like I said, my allergies are starting to do that crazy shit. I mean, I got to fight that shit off. So, yeah. You guys got anything for me before we wrap this up? Weird time for him to just disappear. This will be the time I turn the show over to him and let him bring up his topics. I'm pretty sure he has some. He just disappears. Well, there was a legitimate hatred for J.J. Sharks, the old school show sounds destroyed continuity. No, it did destroy the. It did not destroy the continuity. He created a new one. The continuity that the old Trek fan always knows was always there. They just created a new one in order to tell their story. And the old Trek fan had their rocks ready for it no matter what. So yeah. All right. Just looking at some messages. What is my opinion of Don versus Don? Don who? Oh, are you? What do I? I mean, what do you? I mean, what do I think about um, Gunther being his final opponent? But who's Don? What do we? Don. Dom. Oh, I thought it was a decent match. I mean, I knew what was going to happen because they weren't going to let him off with that. So am I. I think there's major security issues there. Well, if Dave Filoni already said more stuff is coming in on Skywalker talking. That's fine. I don't mind the old Republic stuff is stuff we should have been doing like 15 years ago. But you know, if I'm getting it now, I'll watch that. Dawn of the Jedi, I'm not as interested in. But as far as like the old Republic, that's some of the best stuff out there. If he goes by the Tom Beach, you know, stuff that was out in the mid '90s, the stuff that you always see me cover: Knights of the Old Republic, Freedom Ad Uprising, Dark Lords of the Sith, Sith Lord, Jedi Redemption. If he follows the Ulick Qualjama and XR Khan timeline, I would love that. I mean, or something near that, like they did with the games. Or more, you know, I would like to see them go hundreds of years in the future. To where if we are mentioning Skywalker, it's in mention. It's like we mentioned Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, he was the president. He was, you know, won the Civil War, Gettysburg Address. But what is Abraham Lincoln to us is a historical abstract. That's what I want the next the Star Wars story to be like, where these guys are, yeah, they exist. You know, let's meet under the Skywalker statue to discuss plans about whatever. But I don't want it to be anywhere near the First Order, the Rebellion. I don't want it to be within 2 centuries of it. I think minimum 200 years in the future, if not more. But Knights of the Old Republic, if they did that and they did that right, that's some of the best storytelling Star Wars has ever done, and it's not canon. I mean, so yeah, I would go for either or, but anything but what I'm getting now. I don't know what their expectations are for Mandalorian and Grogu's box office, so I can't really tell you. I think they know that there's some issues there because of if you notice, it's about to come out next month. I see on one trailer, no promo. So,
No, that's not until May.
Man, what's come out in December?
But Avatar.
That's right. Avatar's coming. Oh, that's right. Mandalorian's coming out on May 4th. Duh.
No, it's not May. Not. I'm surprised. No, it's not May the 4th. It's May 22nd. It's coming out for Memorial Day. Yeah, they really need to find a way to put a Star Wars movie out on May the 4th.
I actually think, to be honest with you, I think that's going to come out on May 4th.
You think they'll bump it ahead?
I think they're going to bump it ahead because why not? It's just, May 4th. That's actually a better. That's the first week of May is really good. If you notice, like all the comic book movies, all the good ones that were released, Wonder Woman, Captain, they were all released right around in that area. I don't know why you would wait till late. I don't think I'm gonna bet myself right now that that gets because right now that date is kind of solid, but we're like what It's a 6 months, 7 months away. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? I actually, because when I got the thing for it, I got an email about that for something. I think it was for somebody who was wanting to sell me more on the manufacturer. But I thought for sure it was May. You got May 27th on your thing, 22nd.
Let me pull it up real quick.
I thought for sure it was the first one, but either way, I had December in my mind.
Yeah, May 22nd is what's currently scheduled for.
Yeah, dude, if you're doing a Star Wars, but then again, you know what?
What day of the week is May the 4th on this year? Look at.
I think it's a Sunday.
Because I mean,
yeah, it was. But they've also they've released Star Wars. Star Wars got released late May, so it didn't give. There was no such thing as May the 4th is more of a fan thing, I guess, than anything. But I would do it on that day. But
it's a Monday this coming year, so that'd be very unusual to release a movie on a Monday. It's a big blockbuster, but you know.
But yeah, I have seen the one trailer so far, so I'm expecting another trailer. But I don't know if I haven't seen any promo for that. We're inside of 7 months, but I don't know how confident they are in that movie. I don't know if they're starting to hear it. I don't know, but I guess I'll go see it. I mean, I enjoyed The Mandalorian. I mean, last season was not that good, but overall I liked the show. But I am settling for what you're putting out there. After The Mandalorian, after Andor, I don't have any reason. If you start doing more shows in this era, I'm just going to take a pass for a little bit until but yeah, I don't get the sense that Disney has the biggest bowls in their pants for this movie. Do I think? No, I think Gunther will. But then again, I didn't watch Raw on Monday. I watched Survivor Series, and that was a waste of my time. So I didn't really get me jazzed up to be watching that. Some people feel that Disney promoting Dave Filoni to chief executive officer of Lucasfilms was just to please the toxic fans that didn't like the sequel trilogy. I don't think that's the case. Dave Filoni is earned his. I mean, he's earned his spot into that. He knows the IP. I don't like all the decisions that they've made, but I think that if there's anybody that's going to make better decisions, it's going to be some of the people who made the WAD one because they were in the trenches when it happened. So I don't think that's the case. But on the flip side of that, it's been amazing and very disappointing on what moves Disney has made to appease those same fans. So I mean that I don't think you ever want to do that. Tell your fucking story. Tell your story. When you compromise your stories for fans, listen, there's a reason why we're sitting in our couches and behind computers and not in a quarter office with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. We're good at what we're good at. So yeah, let the professionals fly and land the plane. That's what really needs to happen when it comes to this thing. And C is a very secure cable there, and it's not even available outside the U.S. The only thing that for me, it's that I watch live series Vampire. It's still a big network compared to Access Network where they're at. It's a huge jump up for them. I know AMC because I watch some stuff on AMC. I mean, and when you're talking about outside of the U.S., we're the largest market in the world when it comes to wrestling. We are the absolute largest market in the world when it comes to wrestling. And AMC and here in America is on basic cable. Everybody gets it. Now, like Japan, different things. Japan, other regional, but when you talk about a global reach, as far as like the United States is the largest market in the world when it comes to professional wrestling. So, if it does well here, that paves the way for a lot of other things. William, without getting into too much spoiler territory, where were you during the time? I was at my house. I had DVR'd it because we had cable, digital cable by then. I had DVR'd it, and I stayed away from everybody. And I had me and a bunch of friends. We weren't necessarily doing a watch party, but we were all watching it at the same time in our different places, and we had synchronized. And that's who I was calling. I was calling Cox And this is when I still had a landline. I had my buddies on one line. I had Cox on another line. I'm like, what the fuck? And they said, no, dude, it's my TV too. And it's my TV too. And then Cox Las Vegas had gotten jammed up with Sony phone because everybody thought the TV had been flipped up. They wanted the ending. And then when you saw the credits, you're like, then we went back and rewind back to make sure, because sometimes during the earlier days of digital cable, you would have different, you'd have malfunctions. You're like, hey, okay, I just missed it. No harm, no foul. This what I need to reset my box to. What do we need to do? Nope, that was the ending. David K fucked us on that ending. But I was at my house. I was sitting in front of the TV. Question: do I think Shia LaBeouf deserves a Robert Downey redemption story with him being better now and having religion? I don't know enough about Shia LaBeouf's issues. If he hasn't been convicted of any crime or felon, then I'm going to be But what have I always said about that? It's supply and demand. It's not up to me.
I mean, he's mostly just acting like a prick at different points. But I mean, who hasn't?
Okay, wow, that's new. So, it's going to be up to the audience to decide whether Shia LaBeouf comes back or not. Robert Downey Jr. is different. Robert Downey Jr. was in a prison jumpsuit standing in front of a judge with handcuffs.
That's
different.
His life was so the opposite of where he is now.
That's not Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf wasn't in front of a judge. Shia LaBeouf didn't get so high and destroyed that he climbed in to someone else's and got into bed with their kid. That's Shia LaBeouf is not everybody's not is the same. And that's what makes what Robert Downey Jr. did and recovered from so much extraordinary, because I was looking at the news just waiting to see the news, and news tonight, Robert Downey Jr. unfortunately had passed away from something he did to himself, drugs or whatever. And him and Mike Tyson was another one. Mike Tyson was another. I was certain that we were going to get a news flash of one of those two gentlemen ODing or committing suicide. And thank God that they found their way out. So I'm always impressed when I see Robert Downey Jr. because not everybody makes it out. Not everybody turns it around.
Nobody back in that time frame, nobody was expecting like you could stand on stage at Comic-Con and take off a mask and people would erupt into applause.
Yeah. I mean, all right. When's your list, Jarvis? There is, but I don't think it's necessary in Star Wars because you don't need to really change anything. You just need to get away from the story you're at. I think the absolute whereas they used Kirk and everybody to tell their particular story. The problem is that everybody was asking me like, well, when they did it, they relied on the old names, like you're saying, Star Wars sitting. Here's the difference, and I explained this before. By the time you got J.J. Abrams' check, we had decades of The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, the original series, all these other things to show you. J.J. Abrams chose to tell you that story at that spot. He didn't have to. Star Wars needs to get away from the old familiar, to be honest with you. But people, and I disagree with people say, well, Star Wars is about Skywalkers. Yeah, so far, yeah. But an entire galaxy? And we're just talking about the same family? I mean, come on. Let's see. How you doing, Film Psychic? I have not. Have you, Brad? Played the game Burnout Revenge? I'm not a gamer, so what do you think? I thought once I found out that was him sitting on the couch, that was kind of dumb. That was, to me, I'm like, why would you do that? He could have just turned and looked at the camera and then we're done.
Well, and yeah, especially since that wasn't a double, that was him.
Yeah, that was actually him.
He probably made like what, $500,000 just for that. You might as well get the most bang for your buck out of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Aaron. I think they are different corporations now. All right, guys. I think that's where I'm going to wrap this one up because I'm starting to doze here a little bit because I took some shit.
Not much on the news side today.
Yeah, so we're not talking merge. We're talking till the fuckers decide what they're going to do. I'm tired of chasing my tail. Make up your mind, hopefully.
Is there like a deadline when you have like a merger, like where it's kind of like shit or get off the pot, and like
Not necessarily.
Hmm.
If the company is hurting or hemorrhaging, yeah, but right now they were not hemorrhaging any more than they were. It's just in fact, if they have they have the increased value of their stock right now, they can borrow more money, they'll be all right. So, all right, guys. No guarantee I'll be on tomorrow because I will be just getting some stuff done. Set up for the year. So I will. But if I can break away with enough energy, you'll get one of these. And I will probably restructure the channel like I've been thinking about and talking to you guys about after Christmas, because with marathons and shit and New Year's Eve marathons and other stuff, our schedule is going to be whacked no matter what. And then you have the retail reality. So we're going to after the new year, I got some new stuff. Hopefully, I'll be able to move, start moving in the new studio. At least start showing you guys how it's coming together. So I'm just not talking about a Paul Bunyan or a mythical thing that's never going to happen. It's actually going to happen. So, all right, guys. No, I'm not.
I didn't even know there was one in the works.
They're thinking about it, and it's Michael Mann too, which that's good, but still, we covered that. I told you guys why. That's a horrible idea, and I don't think it's going to do well. But we might have told Michael Mann to do anything. So, all right, guys, like, subscribe, share, and see you tomorrow or whenever it's easier.